Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast that is by the chilihead community, for the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we're going to have an amazing episode here tonight. And we have 3 sauces on Hot or Not, an amazing guest, and of course, a game. So episode 51 starts now. All right, welcome on in, Swear Nation. Glad to have everyone here. I already see the chats going off. Appreciate y'all. And man, if this is your first time checking out the show, so thankful to have you here. I see that we've had quite a few that have joined the channel recently. So thank y'all so much for being here, and continue to share this with like-minded chili heads. If you like what's going on, give us a thumbs up and keep it, tell us what we're doing good. Tell us what we need to change. But we have 3 sauces here on Hot or Not tonight from Spicy Dadda, and it's going to be an absolute, just amazing, packed flavor, heat, you name it. These, did have a chance to try out at the most recent North Texas Hot Sauce Festival, so can't wait to share those with y'all. And of course, we have Brad in as the guest tonight from Spicy Dadda, and we're gonna have him here talking about everything that goes into spicy content, making sauces, going from a hobby and just letting that blossom all the way down to all the other fun things in between. But of course, we have a game as well, so jump on in, be a part of the chat, fire off your questions, and we'll get those asked, as well as you can play along in the game. And if you had a differing of opinion, let us know and how you would have played the game. But let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right. Hey, welcome into Hot or Not. We have 3 sauces here tonight from Spicy Dadda. We're going to be jumping in. We have the lemon starburst, we have the brain strain sauce, and then we have Area 51. So definitely looking forward to sharing these with y'all. Had the pleasure of trying these out at the North Texas Hot Sauce Festival, and it was an absolute blast out there. For anyone that was out there, it was great to meet y'all in person. And for all of those that joined on the live stream, man, I hope that you got to see what it was like, experience what it was like for some of these sauce vendors out there, what drove them, what inspired them. And let's get on into this. So for the lemon starburst, I will say beautiful color, nice overall consistency on this sauce. Go ahead and get that cut, pulled there, and give this thing a good shake. All right, here we go. Oh man, smells so good. Absolutely smells so good. Let's go ahead and get that stopper off for the sake of the pour. And let me go ahead and pull up this here scorecard as well, so that I'm not chasing that down last minute. And let's get this going. If I can, sign me out. Awesome. All right, here we go. Let's get this one rolling. Right off the bat, the smell is phenomenal, very fruity. Wow. All right. Amazing stuff there. Consistency-wise, it's on the thinner side, but it's not completely super thin. It has some nice bits in there that give you the overall pepper taste. That nice fruity note carries forward. A nice savory comes in after the sweet fruity note. And then you start to really let that pepper shine through this sauce. That lemon starburst is an absolute amazing pepper for just about anything that you put it through. Powder sauces straight up. It is just phenomenal. Very well done on this. So as you're getting through the overall notes of just aroma, you're mostly picking up that nice, sweet, fruity note kind of carry through on that front. But the beauty of it is really shining through on the flavor. Let me get these input here while I am discussing that. Let's talk about the heat. So if this is your first time checking out the show, I do break things down differently here. I don't do a 1 to 10 scale. I do 1 out of 5 and base that off of 5 different categories. So those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. Take those, add them all up, average them out, and that gives us our total swear word rating. So heat is what I factor as that first 10 to maybe 30 seconds of the initial pop. Burn is where it sits, how it sits, and how long it's there with you. So let's talk about the heat. Overall, the initial heat on this, if you're just starting out, this is going to be very hot for you. However, in moderation, you are definitely going to be able to enjoy this still, get all the amazing flavor and everything carrying forward. If you are a heat-seeking chili head, you're out there, you're trying to find that, you're trying to find things to light you on fire, this is going to be a nice medium sauce for you. I mean, absolute flavor bomb, but the overall heat is going to be on that medium side, which is perfectly fine. I love a nice medium sauce. They have a lot of flexibility and capabilities of what you can do with that. So let's get that input here. And let's go with the versatility. Versatility on this sauce, with it being a nice fruit base, fruity taste to it, if you will, I can see myself using this definitely on some more desserts, more so than just say your typical savory dishes, normal tacos, etc. The overall versatility, I'm going to go ahead and put that here. And we will talk about burn. So burn on this one, you get it really initially on the overall front half of the mouth, the gums, the lips, the tongue. And then as it sits there, as it starts to build, what you start to notice is it leaves the front half of the mouth. It starts to hit on the back half of the mouth, a little bit on the back of the throat. Nothing too crazy. It's mostly sitting on the back of the tongue and the back of the gums. So let's get that in there. Once again, if you are new to eating spicy food in general, in moderation is going to be the key on this sauce for you. Now, if you're heat-seeking chili head, you're out there, this is definitely going to be, once again, still in that medium range. Nothing too crazy on that front, not having to worry about anything hitting the chest or the gut. So you can definitely enjoy it there. But let's go ahead and get that input, and I will go ahead and read the ingredients off. So for the lemon starburst, this is lemon starburst peppers, pineapple, water, vinegar, yellow onions, lime juice, and salt. I mean, absolutely crushing it. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients in total, and really making those ingredients sing. Phenomenal job here on the lemon starburst pineapple. This is also a fermented sauce. So what's interesting is you're not really having too much of that overall funk nature kind of coming forward like you get with a lot of the fermented sauces in general. That pineapple still carries forward, still does amazing as far as the body of the sauce is concerned, but that lemon starburst is just right there for you, and it is a beautiful marriage between those two. So let's go ahead and get this one read off here. Heat coming in at 3.65, aroma at a 4.1, flavor at a 4.3, versatility at a 4.2, and a burn at 3.75 for a total swear word rating of 4.0. There we go. Very solid sauce. And I am super excited to check out this next one here. It is highlighting a pepper that I absolutely love. This is the brain strain. So go ahead and get this cut and removed. Give this thing a good shake. Love the color on this sauce here. This one's a little bit thicker than the last sauce, so definitely cool to see how this one shakes out. Wow. Okay, right off the bat, absolutely loving the aroma. Very, very savory notes, very complex overall smell to it. And then you get that nice pepper at the end. A little bit of a fruity note, but let's get this one going. Get a nice pour out here. Nice medium consistency. It's got some meat behind the overall sauce, but a nice flow too. It's not getting bound up. So here we go. Man, oh my goodness, that is tasty. Let's talk about it. The initial heat on this thing, right off the bat, as to be expected, the brain strain is pretty much, pretty substantially hotter than the overall. Sorry about that. There we go. Over the overall compared to the lemon starburst. So expecting it to be hotter, and it definitely delivers, but you're not losing out on the amazing flavor rolling through. So right off the bat, a nice savory note, a little kiss of a fruity sweetness undertone, and then you really get almost a nice citrus and pepper finish to this sauce. So heat, if you're brand new, I would say use in moderation. Probably can still get away with that, but you're going to have to be a lot more careful with how you handle this sauce than the lemon starburst if you're just starting out. If you are a heat-seeking, you're constantly trying to find out, what's going to burn you up. This is going to be on that nice higher end of the scale. So I would still put this towards the medium, but maybe like a high medium range, right? Just starting to knock over into that high point. So let me get that input here. Overall aroma, let me get that input as well. And let's talk about the flavor, or input the flavor is in here. And all right, versatility. Looking at this sauce and just taking it in and really assessing it, I could definitely see myself using this on quite a bit of different dishes in general. The overall, would I use this on, say, a dessert as well? Probably not to the same note that I would be able to use the lemon starburst. It definitely has the capabilities, but it would not be my first thought of when going for a dessert sauce. So for that, I would say it's a little bit less versatile than the lemon starburst in that realm. But overall burn, right off the bat, you're getting full mouth burn. This one does hit the back of the throat more. You're getting a lot more there. You're getting a little bit less in the back of the mouth, mostly just sitting on the throat. Nothing in the chest, nothing in the stomach. But all in all, this is definitely a fun sauce, and one that is going to deliver the heat the whole way through, and you're not losing out on any of that amazing flavor through the journey. So let's get that input here, and we will have that on over for review. Now let's talk about the ingredients. Right off the bat, papaya. Then we have brain strain peppers, mango, red bell peppers, water, cilantro, vinegar, lime juice, garlic, and sea salt. Man, those that fruity sweet note that I was talking about, that very subtle, that note you're getting, that is definitely coming through on that papaya and that mango. I mean, I love papaya. I know some people actually, from just briefly talking to folks, I've actually found out more people have not tried papaya than I thought. But papaya is a beautiful fruit. Love it to death. So it really sinks through here. It does a phenomenal job being able to deliver that pepper taste without really obliterating your taste buds along the way. I'm salivating like crazy over this sauce. I really just want some more. But once again, very limited ingredients, knocking it out of the park, making sure everything really shines through and has a nice presentation through the sauce. Let's get this one right off here. Heat coming in at 3.8, aroma at 4.1, flavor at 4.35, versatility at a 4, and burn at a 4.2 for a total swear word rating of 4.09. There we go. There we go. Another phenomenal sauce. I will have the links for everything directly down below, but let's go ahead and jump on over to the tiny bottle here. This is called Area 51, and it is a small bottle for a reason. So, you know, let's give this thing a good shake, actually. All right, here we go. This was an absolute amazing sauce to try out while there. Definitely cannot wait to jump in on this. So, definitely on the thicker side. Nothing too super thick. Once you get it going, it's going. So nice medium consistency, slightly thicker than the last. Hearty spoonful. All right, set that down. Man, right off the bat, very pepper forward. Very amazing aroma overall. If you like peppers, if you like the smell of Superhots, this is going to be great. I'm already salivating. This is awesome. All right, here we go. Oh, man. Oh, that is so good. All right. Right off the bat, that fruity note that you get from the peppers, super prevalent. Right off the bat, you get that nice citrus, crisp taste as well. The peppers are just, they are the featured product in this overall sauce. And I mean, it's not, so it's definitely not super salty. You can taste a little bit of salt. Get a little bit of nice vinegar, but you're getting really those overall pepper notes carrying forward. If you do not eat, you know, fresh pods and you're not to that level, but you like the idea of getting into it, pushing that tolerance, getting further, you know, this is a great way to find out what it tastes like to eat a fresh pod without having the full commitment of a fresh pod. If you are just starting out, this is not going to be a sauce that you just want to jump right into. This is going to be something that would fit better for the individuals that are, you know, they're working on their tolerance. They've got to a certain point. They're wanting to push forward. This is a phenomenal sauce for that. Heat on this right off the bat, not too bad. You're really able to take in a lot of those flavors, a lot of the complexities that come through this sauce. While I can guarantee you, it's not going to have as many ingredients as, say, the others. Those peppers are just such a great body and profile that you're really being able to see those highlighted right there in front of you. Heat-wise, if you are, you know, seeking the heat, chili head, this is going to be on the higher end, right? So let's get that input here. Aroma. I love the smell of Superhots. If you don't love the smell of Superhots, might not be the sauce for you from an aroma standpoint. However, this is going to be a very versatile sauce. We'll go ahead and jump down to that as well. I can see this being versatile in the sense that not only can you enjoy it on your food and with things, but if you were to use this, say, incorporate it into a sauce already, or use this incorporated into a marinade, like you're going to be able to benefit from the heat of what's going on and the flavor of what's going on, all while still using this product. So let's input the flavor and heat. And let's talk burn. All right. So off the bat, you're getting the full mouth attack. And then pretty quickly, it does start to transition towards the throat. It's mostly parked on the throat at this point. You're getting a little bit of upper chest, but not too much. nothing in the gut. And, as I'm speaking now, the gums, the front of the lips, everything, all that has completely dissipated. It is just parked in the back of the throat, and it is ripping and roaring, and it is just smoldering in the back. So, loving the heat on this. Not something that would be for someone just starting out. This is going to be geared towards chili heads. So, let's get that input here and have that on over for review. All right, if I could, there we go. All right, let's talk about ingredients. So here we go. Ingredients are, this is a spicy Dadda pepper mash, and then vinegar, lime juice, and salt. Let's see if it says specifically on here. It does not. I do believe I know what they are, but for sake of making sure I give you accurate information, the second we get Brad out here, we'll talk about that. But all in all, I mean, absolutely phenomenal taste on this sauce. Love the heat. Love what's going on with it. This would be a nice shooter for me. I could see this one being like one of those. So a lot of the professional competitions that go on when there's a sauce round, that could be a phenomenal sauce round item to be able to just drink that bottle essentially. But here we go. Let's go ahead and read this off. Heat coming in at 4.2, aroma at 3.8, flavor at 3.9, versatility at 4.3, and burn at a 4.47 for a total swear word rating of 4.13. There we go. Amazing products. I'll have the links directly down below on how you can get a hold of those products, as well as the main website, so you can see all the products offered. But let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview. Hey, Brad, how's it going?
Great. You're handling the Area 51 better than I am.
Oh, it's so good. Honestly, I would love to, which I normally do bring an extra container for things like that, but I would love to just actually down that right now. It's so tasty. What peppers are in there?
So we put Spicy Dadda pepper mash on the label for a reason, because I love to switch things up. I don't like to commit to the same thing every year. As newer and hotter peppers come out, I'm going to throw those in my garden, and I'm going to make a new mash next year. This year, it is Primo Tallies and 7-Pot Primos. 7-Pot Primos are always in there, and they make up the biggest proportion of the sauce, but it's pretty 50-50 of Primo Tallies and 7-Pot Primos this year.
Oh, it is beautiful. Definitely that Primo, Primo and Primo Tally, obviously it's similar. So, for all those that are watching, listening, the Primo Tally, one of the parents is the Primo. So that flavor profile is very, as your tolerance builds, you'll find this out. But it has this beautiful fruity nature to the pepper as a whole. And that is super highlighted throughout this. With that lime juice really kind of bringing forward in that vinegar, it is highlighting, amplifying that overall flavor while not lacking in any of that heat. So kudos there.
Thank you. Yeah, this sauce you hit it right on the head. I wanted to share the experience of walking into my garden and grabbing one of my peppers off the plant and biting right into it. So I use 2 pounds of 7-Pot Primos, and I weigh them. So I do this by the pound, not by the pod, which those of you who are familiar with this pepper, they are thin-walled peppers. It takes a lot of these peppers to make 2 pounds. So I do 2 pounds of peppers, 3 ounces of lime juice, 10 ounces of vinegar, and that's it. So it is, and the vinegar and lime juice to help balance that acidity, of course, make it shelf stable. Vinegars to help it just get out of the bottle. The first time I made it, I just blended my pepper mash, and it took me all night to fill up those little bottles with literally a skewer. And I'm just sitting here like skewering the sauce in there. So I'm like, All right, I'll add some vinegar so that I can get it in and people can get it out of the bottle and enjoy it.
Yeah, and you've done a very good job at being able to have that vinegar utilize or be utilized in a way that's not overpowering. I know there's quite a few people with very sensitive palates to vinegar as an ingredient in general, and it is definitely not something that's super dominant throughout that. So it's just enough to get done what you need done.
Exactly. Yeah, I want people to experience the thrill of just eating a homegrown super hot pod. And if you've never had a homegrown super hot before, it is extremely different than getting a hot pot at the grocery store or something commercially available. The people who grow these at home, we put our heart and soul into these, and my passion is growing super, super hot peppers. These are my babies. I want them to absolutely destroy you when you eat them.
Oh yeah. And I guess from that point being a jump off, we'll talk about your grow because I mean you grow some monster plants. I mean, obviously the very beloved video that you have released of roasting your plants is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I'm a big Kill Tony fan, so to be able to see that it was spot on. I love comedy in general, but that roasting style was great. And whether or not that actually it excites them to grow or become more vicious in the pod realm, the concept is great, and it really highlights your overall grow. So how long have you been growing?
I have been growing stuff my whole life. So my first job was gardening. Me and my brother went to work. We bought a lawnmower, he bought a truck, and we started doing people's lawns when I was 13 years old. And it is something that stuck with me my whole life. I put myself through college growing plants, and then I stopped for a while, did the whole career thing, and then had my first kid and was stuck on paternity leave and was just bored out of my mind. And I was like, I need something to do. And so started growing peppers and wanted to make my own hot sauce after watching Hot Ones. And now here we are talking to you today.
There we go. Hey, I mean that's a pretty fun journey. It's always great to understand, kind of what got people going, what got people started, what motivated them, and that's a great way to take something that you were in a situation that you didn't necessarily want to be stuck doing, if you will, but you turned it into a way that you could find ways to grow, to learn, to enjoy something that you're already passionate about. So that's awesome. Okay. I guess to take that a step further, but also I guess tying back to what you had mentioned before. So a lot of people are familiar with the idea of going to the grocery stores and they can go pick up habaneros or jalapenos, serranos, et cetera, right? What was your entry point into the world of spicy food in general?
So me and my wife, we got big into Hot Ones as it got more and more and more popular, and we started doing our own spicy challenges and getting the hotter and hotter varieties of wings. And then when I decided I was going to grow my own, I grew jalapenos, I grew habaneros, I grew some Scotch bonnets, and I was so proud. And I had my first harvest, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, I spent $387 on fertilizers and soil and nutrients, and I produced something I could have gotten at the grocery store for 60 bucks, or I mean, let's be honest, 13 bucks for
Yeah.
jalapenos and habaneros. So I was like, maybe this isn't the most viable hobby. And I decided then and there, I was like, I'm not going to grow this stuff anymore because I can get this from somebody somewhere else. And I immediately went my second year into the weirdest crosses that I could get a hold of. And I grew like 60 varieties of plants, and my whole patio was filled with plants. And from there, it was just kind of a selection process of what grows well in my climate, what produces well, and like very early on, I was looking at it from I'm putting a lot of time and money and effort into this. And I don't want to do that for free. Obviously, I love growing stuff. I love watching plants grow, but the financial side of it, having kids at home, like I can't just be pouring my kids' future into pots on my deck. There's gotta be some sort of way that this can fund itself. Cause I have this habit of never going, like anything that I do in life, I go hardcore. I never do anything half-ass. Um, so of course I'm buying like the most premium soil that you can get, and I'm finding local compost providers, and I'm getting the absolute best hydroponic nutrients that you can get and feeding these plants. So yeah, I went straight into the weird varieties that you can't get unless you grow them yourself.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. And to that point, there's so many people, me included, when you start out, the amount of varieties that comes to be, what ends up in the garden is just this giant list of different varieties. And then it's one of those learning points as you go on and you continue to grow. You're like, all right, well, maybe I'll grow more plants of certain varieties and really cut down the total amount of varieties, but keep the plant count the same. Or, some people scale down from there, but you start to dial it in and you're growing with purpose instead of growing with excitement. The excitement's still there, but it's just like that first part. It's like that dog chasing its tail, and it's like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. And the next thing you know, you're like, what did I just get myself into? I got so many, and you're also, I mean, unfortunately, one of the things that you can walk into is if plants don't do so well, and maybe you decided to grow a whole bunch of varieties, but only one or two of that kind of variety. If one plant doesn't do great, now you're really relying on that other plant to really perform. So, definitely understand that right there to the fullest. So as far as your grow, are you doing mostly organic, or are you going synthetics as well? What does that look like for you?
When I started out, I was doing synthetics. I was working with my local hydroponics shop. I was sourcing all the stuff that they say this is the absolute best fertilizer that you can feed. And last year I built my own raised beds. I got soil in there. I was throwing fertilizer in, and I had my worst year growing that I've had in my entire life. I spent, way more money than I should have spent trying to get these plants nursed back to health. And I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. So the whole off season, I did nothing but read about soil science and sent my soil off for testing, and everything that I was coming back with said the problem was the soil. And the more I learned how do I fix my soil? How do I optimize this to grow amazing plants that will produce enough pods that my hobby is worth the time that I'm spending on it? Um, it all came back and said organics the only way. Healthy soil will produce healthier plants. So I went all in. I started amending my raised beds in January. I sent the soil off, got it tested, found out exactly what's in there. I started putting in my soil amendments. I went and I found the absolute best compost that you can get in the southern United States, which luckily happens to be here in Houston.
I was just about to say
And
that.
I filled my beds with this compost on top of my amendments. We're talking kelp and crab shells and guanos and, all the different things that you can get a hold of. Covered it with all the new fresh compost, babied my seedlings until I got them in the beds in March, and they took off like absolutely crazy. I've never seen plants in person this big. I mean, at this point in the season, they're literally growing sideways now. But if I stand them up, they're over 10 and a half feet tall.
Wow.
And produced 115 pounds of super hot peppers, not just peppers, but 115 pounds of super hots in my tiny little residential backyard, growing all organic, not a single chemical fertilizer. I mean, most people will still feed organic fertilizers every week or every 2 weeks. And I've gotten a lot of awesome advice from people that grow plants that I'm going to start doing an organic feed, regularly next year. Um, but I mean, I'd go a month or 2 months without feeding my plants. It was all just in the soil, and I just let the plants be plants.
Absolutely. So much to be said about that too. And there's a lot of wisdom in the idea of making sure that soil is alive, it's living, it's doing its thing. Often too many times we do focus on the quick pops, the quick wins from the synthetic, and that's what kind of drives people to stay there and not really understand what's going on. But the world has existed for quite some time, and synthetic chemicals have only been around for a very finite time frame, if you will, in the grand scheme of things. And so there is a method to that madness, and it's really just understanding it and dialing it in. It's just quick shout out to everyone that's in the chat, popping off, having fun. Hey, if y'all have questions, go ahead and send those on in, and we will get those asked here shortly. And glad to have everyone here. You had mentioned it. The overall one of my favorite organic nutrients is actually from Houston. And I'm blanking on the name. I've been trying to think of the name for it for a while, but it is a leaf compost that is from there, and it is some of the best stuff you can get. And I get it up here. I'm very fortunate to have a good relationship with the local organic shop here in town, and they get it sent in by the pallet load. So
if you're listening,
you use that.
Compost, if you can get a hold of that leaf mold compost, it's incredible. I love to balance that out with their fungal compost too, because the fungal component of your compost is super important, because that fungal compost is adding to that biodiversity in your soil. It's adding in more of those microorganisms. And the benefit of that is the more microbes you have in your soil, the more they're going to naturally break down what's in the soil itself. So soil, silt, clay, loam, or silt, clay, and now I'm blanking because I'm thinking about it. But you want that nice loamy soil, and if you have that good loamy soil, those are going to break down with those microbes. They can create fertilizers themselves, so the plants, they don't need this input as much because they can create their own fertilizer throughout the season.
Yep. Absolutely. And that fungal connection helps spread out the reach of those plants and really make it utilize everything that it can within its proximity. So it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's the reason why you don't use pesticides. It's not just I'm organic for the sake of being organic. If you use chemical pesticides in your garden, you're killing those microbes that are in your soil and that are creating food for your plants. So my wife loves to make fun of me because it's midnight in spring when it's rainy time and there's moths out there and there's caterpillars. And I literally will take a headlamp out at midnight when the caterpillars come out, and I will pick them off one by one and I'll smash them. Shouldn't say that out loud for those who are squeamish, but I dispose of them in a careful way, I'll say.
Yep. Well, and so with caterpillars, it's one thing. The other main issue that you have around that same time frame is slugs. And I used to live and die by those beer traps, and they still are great. But someone turned me on to, and it's an older method, and it's one of those tried and true things that people tend to forget about. But getting a plank of wood, some form of a plank of wood, and letting it soak in water, and just letting that soaked wet part be face down next to your plants. And all you have to do is flip it over in the morning, grab all the snails, all the slugs, all the things, and just dispose of them. I like to are used to gather them and put them in a container for all the birds that were in the area to feast on. So it was pretty interesting, but easy tactics can really do wonders.
Yeah, I rehome them to another dimension.
Yeah. in a bird's stomach for me. But that's just because, you know, I like my plants and I like my peppers. So,
Yeah.
okay.
I do that every year, and then I get to the point where, like, at this point, I've got 110 pounds of peppers. If the caterpillars want some, go for it. Like, I've got plenty to share. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I can definitely understand that. At a certain point, the labor of love becomes more of a labor than a love, and you know, so it's definitely got to be interesting to cross that threshold. I've only had to do that twice, and fortunately, it's a good problem to have. We'll put it that way. Okay,
so
the
one,
s- oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was gonna say I don't source peppers anywhere. All of the peppers in our sauces come directly from my backyard. I do not have a big backyard, so when I start each season, you never know how many peppers you're going to have. And each one of those pods is absolutely precious to me. And the first one that I find that is eaten through with a caterpillar, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have any peppers this year because you're going to eat them all. And then once I know I've got enough to kind of make the number of hot sauce bottles that I plan to sell for that year, then I know, like, hey, I've got plenty to share. If squirrels want some, if the birds want some, have at it.
There we go. There we go. Hey, Jeff, do we have questions over there ready to go? Or okay, all right. What we'll do is while he's taking a look over there for that. You know, obviously we didn't really get to talk too much about the sauces tonight. But I guess on a quick snapshot of how the North Texas Hot Sauce Festival went for you, I guess share a little bit about that for anyone that wasn't there for that event, but more so, kind of, what was your perspective on it?
It's an awesome event. The people that organize that, Cole with fucking hot sauces, and Chad from Freaky Ferments, Oliver, Nate from Tot Sauce, like those guys, they care so much. For us, it's not about, you know, how many bottles you sell or anything. It's about being there with those guys and being there with people who care so much about hot sauce. They're incredible people, and the event is so much fun. I mean, just being out there with 33 pepper vendors and talking all day with people who love peppers as much as I do, that's what I do it for. That's what I care about. This isn't a, you know, I joke around that I make the least commercially viable hot sauce in the game. It's not about profit and dollars and cents to me. It's about being out there and sharing the love of peppers with people. And, you know, that's what they really do an awesome job of at this event. And we'll be there every single year going forward. Um, you know, love being a part of stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it was so electric. There was a lot of just passion for the overall love of the community out there. A very kind, sharing environment overall. You know, everyone was just building up each other. It was a phenomenal time. But nobody
Yeah,
nobody
funny
had
anecdote.
what's
I'll
that?
bring that to life in terms of like everybody working together and building each other up. Literally, that's what happened. We showed up and we put it up and our tent collapsed. Our canopy fell apart. You know, these things have a limited shelf life and it happens. And just it was the morning of this event. And literally we had like 5 other vendors that are out there with duct tape and they're helping us like strap our tent together so that we can just get through the day and have some shade out there. And that's the spirit and the vibe of this. Of we're just out there because we love peppers and we're there supporting each other, even if you have to, you know, stand on a chair and help somebody wrap their tent in duct tape.
Absolutely. But the one thing nobody else had that you had was the intergalactic flavors. I mean, absolutely crushing it with these. So, hey, I do notice that we're getting close on here. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the game. All right, here it is. Keep 5, cut 5. This is going to be a rather fun one. This is going to be more geared towards your personality, things that you would want to live with and not live without. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to have it all the time. It's just what you would prefer. So there's one on here, speaking of intergalactic flavors that made this list on purpose. And it's also, you know, in the logos and on the Area 51. So I'm going to do this. I'll read out what is on here 1 through 10. So all those that are just audio listening later on, they can keep track of what's going on. But the best order of operations is you can either start with cutting or keeping, but keeping it an alternating method is typically, you know, the best way to go about this. But here we go. Right up front, number 1 is conspiracy theories. Number 2 is family. Number 3 is hot wings. Number 4 is beer. Number 5 is football. Number 6 is hot sauce festivals. Number 7 is Superhots. Number 8, aliens. Number 9 is winter. This is specifically winter in Texas in that image, but and then we have fall. So, all right, here it goes. Keeping 5 and cutting 5. But what do you want to start with? Are you starting with a keep or a cut?
I gotta go keep because I love absolutely everything on this list. So this is brutal and torturous. So, of course, my wife would kill me. Family first. Number 1 on the keep list. Gotta go family. I mean, those who know me, Spicy Dadda. My kids came up with the name. My boys are my life, and I am absolutely blessed to have the 3 best kids in the world and the coolest wife in the world as well. She does all of our marketing, all of those social media posts. She's shooting those. A lot of them are her ideas. Our viral videos are her lines that are coming out of my mouth. So family first, always. Definitely got to be number 1. And then, man, the rest is just...
That one was kind of staged in there once again on purpose because it was like you kind of had to use a pick on that. So then it made it more interesting for the others.
Yeah, family's everything. I'm going to have to go with probably beer second. So what got me into hot sauce, I
Is that a
brewed
keep or
beer
a cut?
Keep.
Okay.
For sure. I brewed beer for 5-6 years. And then that's why I ferment all of my sauces. I use my old beer making equipment to do that. So love beer, love microbrews. It's rare that you'll catch me without having a single beer at night because now I'm an old dad, and if I have 2 beers, I'm hungover in the morning because I'm old.
I understand how that one goes. All right,
Okay,
let's get a cut in here. Actually, we can probably do 2 real quick. That way we can do boom, boom, and then back in order.
Cut winter. I mean, the freeze kills my pepper plants, so get that out of here.
Fair enough. I guess with Houston, it's got to be a little bit better. You probably have a little bit longer than what I would have up here in the DFW.
Yeah, we get our plants out in March. They usually live until December, and then I'm scrambling to get everything else done for the next season and like the 2 or 3 off-season months we have. So, and then I'm going to cut fall because I don't love it as much as everything else on this list. I love fall as much as the next guy, don't get me wrong, but if I got to cut one, I'm cutting fall.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see.
So the list still has conspiracy.
I would go so far as to cut conspiracy theories because the conspiracy theories I enjoy, they're not theories, they're not conspiracies, they're facts. They happened, you know.
Fair enough.
Aliens exist. They're out there. It's not a theory.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, some people like to dig into all those, so you know it's always interesting to see where that one lies. But no, it definitely makes sense. Good justification on that.
I'll cut the wings. I can eat spicy stuff in other places without wings.
Okay.
So there's four.
All right. Let's get
Uh,
some keeps.
I'm gonna have to keep the hot sauce festivals. Those
Okay.
are just so much fun. I mean, we only do hot sauce festivals for the most part. I'll do some other events like locally here around Houston, but I produce such a limited quantity. I'm not trying to scale it up. I'm not trying to be at farmers markets every weekend. Um, Hot sauce festivals are why I make hot sauce because they are so much fun and I love the people there and I love the other vendors there. I love spending time with them. Um, that's a must have.
All
Then
right.
I gotta say, I gotta keep super hots. I mean, gardening is my anti anxiety, it's my anti-depression, it's my hobby. It's what calms me down after, you got a 3-year-old. Once you put that 3-year-old to bed, just walking through my garden is like what brings peace to your soul.
Yep.
Man, and that
Absolutely.
leaves only one more. So
Yep.
I love
Now you can pick
love
either one.
aliens. Love aliens. It's my wife's biggest fear is being abducted by aliens. Like we literally can't drive out in rural areas at night because she is terrified she'll be abducted. So I'm going to say we're going to get rid of that one so that she doesn't get abducted. We'll cut the aliens as much as I love them. And I got to keep football. I mean, Kansas City Chiefs, I haven't missed a game since Matt Castle was our quarterback. I watched our 0-13 season and three-peat, baby. We're going for it. Wide
All right.
receivers are
There we go. I like it. I like the conviction. I like the stance on the overall game. I mean, it was a pretty fun game for keep five, cut five here. I see that you had some nice toss ups here and there, but how did you feel about the game?
That's tough. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I'm proud of my selections. I'm proud of my selections. I'll keep those for sure. Although
All
I
right.
would love to dive into some good conspiracy theories because I got a lot of them.
I'm right there with you. I love a good conspiracy theory as well. I love those fringe topics in general. So, all right. All right. Very nice. All right. Well,
I'm the worst
hey,
person to do conspiracy theories with, though, because I like to do both sides. I like to argue both of them. I'm never for or against. I'm both. Like, whatever you are, I'm the opposite, just so we can have a nice debate about it. Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because, if you don't challenge it, then you don't get to understand it. And if you don't understand it, then you're really preaching about something that you don't fully comprehend. So I like it. Okay. Well, here's what we'll do now. This is your chance to give a nugget of knowledge to anyone that is watching, listening. What would be something that you would encourage them to do from the standpoint of getting into growing? We'll focus on that side.
Oh, getting into growing. Um, my biggest tip and the thing that I would encourage people to do the most, if you're interested in growing super hot peppers, get some seeds in some pots and spend some time with those plants. Get off the internet. The people who know exactly how to fix your problems on the internet have no idea what is wrong with your plant. The only person who knows how to fix any problems, how to diagnose pests, things like that is you. You're the person that's out there with the plants. The person on the internet telling you what to do 9 times out of 10 has no idea. I remember one year I went to Reddit, super hot pepper forum, and I was like, how do I keep, I had I had ants climbing up my brain strains. And I was like, how do I keep ants off my brain strain plants? And somebody was like, oh, put Vaseline around the base of your pepper plant, and that will keep stuff from going up and down the stem. I was like, that is genius. So I put Vaseline around the base of my pepper plants, and guess what? The ants didn't go up and down anymore. And I was like, awesome. This guy was He knows what he's doing. Then my plants died. The
Yep.
Vaseline soaked in through the pores and the sunlight and just rotted the whole plant out from the stem. So, absolutely worst advice I've ever gotten in my life. So, get off the internet, get in the garden, go organic, give those plants just good, healthy soil, and spend some time with them. Watch them, observe them every day, see how they grow, see what works in your climate, and go from there. Not every pepper variety is going to grow wonderfully in your climate. I've got a lot of varieties that grow awful out here in Houston, and I've been able through trial and error to find ones that grow really, really well, and focus on those. And then every year I try 2 or 3 new varieties. So trial and error, spend time with those plants, and get off the screens.
There we go. Very solid advice right there. Now, here's your chance to put someone on the hot seat. So, who would you like to nominate for being on the hot seat?
So I've got 2 nominations. One has already been nominated, but I'm going to throw him back out in there because he's just an awesome guy. He's here in Houston. I love to grab beers with him and talk hot stuff and eat pods. Lauren from Hardcore Hot Sauce, fantastic dude, a lot of fun to chat with. And then someone who hasn't been nominated before, Michael Locke from Prescribed Burn Sauces. He's out in Northern California. He's got a co-packing facility for other hot sauce makers, and he's got his own lineup of Prescribed Burn sauces. Great dude, super nice guy, and he makes some awesome products.
There we go. Very solid nominations. And hey, now's the chance to inform those that are just, whether they're with us right now or the ones that are listening to the playback on Apple Podcasts for just the audio side. How can they find you? Where can they find you? And plug away anything you want to plug.
SpicyDadda.com. We're also on Instagram. We make some of the spiciest content that you'll find in our garden. Check out the pepper plants. I give some growing tips. I show off what's working in our garden here in Houston. Of course, don't take my word for it. Get out in your own garden and find out what works for you. Grab some of our hot sauce. It is all super simple recipes. It's all, it's all pepper forward stuff. I love to make stuff, hot sauce for chili heads. So it's not for people who like jalapenos and habaneros. There's a million of those sauces in the grocery store. You can find those anywhere. If you want to try the new crosses, check out what we've got on SpicyDadda.com.
There we go. Very solid. And while you're over there, check out that roasting video. You'll have a phenomenal time. It is very funny stuff right there. But man, Brad, it has been awesome having you on here. There's obviously so much more we can dive into. So we'd love to have you come back on. Once again, it's been an honor having you here.
Honor's all mine. I'm a huge fan of the show, and it's surreal to be on here because I'm the one who watches this stuff and consumes this content. So it's my pleasure.
Well, thank you again, and I look forward to having you back on here soon. All right. Hey, episode 51. Man, it has been a blast. We've had 3 sauces from Spicy Dadda, and man, they are phenomenal. As he is saying, very simplistic as far as the amount of ingredients and things that are going in there, but really allowing those ingredients to sing and do what they do best, and very well executed. All the links for those will be directly down below, as well as any means of ways that you want to get in contact, like he had mentioned with the Instagram, etc. The direct links to the website will all be there for you to access and use. Once again, honor to have Brad on here. It was great meeting him out at the North Texas Hot Sauce Festival and allowing this opportunity for us to have him on as a guest. Hope everyone enjoyed the great game of Keep 5, Cut 5. I'm so thankful to have everyone in the chat being active, having a blast. Just to think that we are next episode hitting our 1 year marker is just mind blowing to me. The time has flown by. I've learned so much. I've grown so much, and couldn't do any of this without y'all. It has been an honor to have this year start to come to a close, and thinking of how the future is going to look. It is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a blast. Hey, once again, could not do this without podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, and you're just trying to figure out how to get back on that horse and get going, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your needs. And if you're trying to get in contact with them, just go ahead and hit me up, and I'll get you in the right place. But man, episode 51 is in the books. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been the Swear Word.